Well, the front runner to be the next president of the United States, Donald Trump, is now a convicted felon. So one of the world's largest democracies is now in very dangerous and uncharted waters. The stability of the United States now rests partly on his reactions. We saw from the Capitol riots that how some of his supporters are prepared to go out there. This is a country with a lot of guns, ironically, and we saw him before talking about wanting to defend the Constitution of the United States. Ironically, a convicted felon cannot own a gun. So for all of his support from the National Rifle Association and the right of American politics, Donald Trump now can't own a gun. And so for me, the concern is the civil stability and his assault on so many of the institutions that Americans have held dear. The conspiracy theory here, the FBI has been part of the conspiracy theory, the media, the jury, this judge, it was a rigged case, the judge was conflicted. All of these institutions that have been immortalised by American movies and Hollywood, the FBI, the jury system, the judges, even the media, all the president's men, are now said by Donald Trump, the front runner to be president, to be part of this dangerous conspiracy to pervert the course of justice.
And many of these institutions, particularly the judiciary, is the cornerstone of a democracy. What is this all doing to democracy in America?
What it's doing, I think, is it's completely polarising it. He's basically saying, I couldn't get a fair trial because New York's not my territory. That his supporters are saying only 5 to 10% of people in this particular area would ever vote for him. And to suggest the judge is part of it, the Department of Justice. Again, these are all organisations that, whether it was Ronald Reagan or the George Bushes, you know, conservative Republicans in the United States have always acknowledged the primacy of groups like the FBI. So my concern now is that if the supporters of Donald Trump, either with his nod, his quiet nod, or of their own, decide that this has to become something to be decided in the streets, that we could see a dangerous period in the United States.
Hey YouTube world, Harvest is plenty. I hope all is well. Thanks for stopping by to check out the video. Please don't forget to smash that like button for me. So Trump is guilty. That's the verdict. And I'm sitting back watching the reactions of people all across America and outside of America too. Some are cheering. They are very happy that he was convicted. Some are in the middle and could care less. They're not bothered by it one way or another. And then there are those who are really angry and upset. Some even calling for armed resistance. And these reactions will continue as long as people put their faith in man and not in Jesus Christ. I wish people would just wake up to the Hollywood stage production, because the world is a stage, and this is part of that production.
The problem is that they have total control over everything. So anytime you see things going on, just understand that the powers that be in this government want it that way. Franklin Roosevelt, probably most of you don't remember who he was. He was one of the presidents. Franklin Roosevelt made a statement publicly that I think is very important. He said that anytime you see anything happen in politics, you better understand it was planned that way. So anything that's going on in this country that you see that sounds crazy and lunacy, it's crazy and lunacy to you. But to those guys who are doing it, they know what they're doing. There is a method to the madness.
Divide and conquer, the same old parlor tricks that people are falling for. For those of you who've been following me for quite some time, you've heard me use the term Hegelian Dialectic for a long time now. And that's what's going on here. Thesis, antithesis equals synthesis. The Republican Party and the Democratic Party are clashing. By design, it's all well orchestrated to dissolve both parties into one. Because see, when the New World Order kicks off, you will not have a Democrat and a Republican Party. Those parties will be done away with. It's in their playbook. But it's all part of the Hegelian Dialectic game, and people are choosing sides and falling for it. Don't choose a side. If you need to choose anything, choose Jesus Christ. But don't fall for the Hegelian Dialectic game.
Briefly today about the Hegelian dialectic and Hegel's concept of how knowledge came into being. Hegel was not the first person to propose the dialectic, but his viewpoint on the dialectic was a major influence after his time, especially in the writings of Karl Marx. Now, what Hegel said was that for every idea or thesis, there would be automatically an opposite idea or antithesis. Now, the conflict between this idea and this idea would lead to synthesis, or a brand new idea, which would be a combination of the thesis and the antithesis. Now, the interesting thing is that the minute that a synthesis is proposed, it automatically becomes a thesis. And that leads to antithesis, an opposite idea, more conflict, and a new synthesis or combination of ideas. That synthesis becomes a new thesis, positing a new antithesis or antithesis, and a new synthesis. He said this process went on infinitely. It was never ending. Now, the interesting thing that Karl Marx did, he came through and he said, oh, let's have the proletariat in conflict with the bourgeois. There would be a synthesis and a new society. The difference is that at the end of the day, he said that we would achieve some sort of utopian society in which conflict would end.
So this is all I have for this clown show, because it's really a clown show. If you guys go and watch my President's Day video, you will see that everybody in the presidential ranks are related. They're all from the same Illuminati bloodline families. They're all Freemasons, belong to Skull and Bones and other Bohemian club groups. Nothing is going to happen to Trump and his family. Nothing is going to happen to Biden and his family. The goal is to get America fighting against each other. United we stand, divided we fall. As simple as that. America will be destroyed from within. The attacks are coming. They have some things mapped out and planned out. They will shut the grid down. That's coming too. They're going to, do a replay of the Northern Lights this summer. Project Bluebeam. That's coming too. So you're going to see the Northern Lights again. The stage alien invasions. That's on schedule too. So there's a lot of things that's coming to get you distracted and get you, away from the love and the grace of Christ, and to get your minds worried about stuff that you cannot control. Just want to drop this stuff off to you guys. I love you. Be safe out there. Protect yourself at all times. May God continue to bless you and your family.
Ma'am, what happened to you?
I got maced.
You got maced.
Please.
And what happened? You were trying to go inside the Capitol?
I made it like a foot inside and they pushed me out and they maced me.
What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Elizabeth. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee.
And why did you want to go in?
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
Thank you.